Hello everyone. Today we're going to discuss how hard is it to start a truck dispatching service. So, we're being frequently asked how hard or how easy is it to start a truck dispatching service. When answering this question, we need to consider a few different angles. And the first angle we need to consider is knowledge. Is it hard to learn how to dispatch trucks? In my opinion, it is not. The reason I don't think it is hard is because you, as an independent truck dispatcher, will be conducting a limited number of tasks, and those tasks are very repetitive. For example, you will be calling to get more information about the load, and every time you call, you will be pretty much asking the same questions. So once you do a few phone calls, you're going to get used to it, and there is not much to it. Then when you're negotiating the rates for your clients, again, you're going to try to get the highest possible rate, and those conversations are going to be all very similar. You're going to do your best to get the highest rate, broker will do their best to offer you the lowest rate, and eventually you meet at some price point that is acceptable to both of you. Then comes paperwork. As you will learn, you will be completing the same type of documents over and over again. So once you do it a few times, you will see that it's fairly easy. You're going to be filling in the same blanks, signing on the same dotted line, or you will be doing those documents, completing those documents online, but you will realize that it's all the same and does not really require any new knowledge or effort to complete those documents. And last but not least is dispatching your client, which shouldn't be really too hard. You just have to communicate with your client and provide your client with the important information related to pickup and delivery of the load. So as you can see, all these tasks are fairly simple. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to complete them, and it shouldn't be a problem for you to learn those skills. And to learn these skills, you can take a course, you can take our course, you can take some other course. As long as you get all this essential information, I believe you should be able to learn these operational procedures and then conduct them successfully. Now, something you cannot learn, or the things that cannot be taught, is the experience. So for example, when it comes to problem resolution, you will not be able to resolve problems efficiently until you face them and until you have different outcomes of different situations. But that is where it might be an advantage for you to be our student, because you can email us and tell us about the situation you're facing, and our team will advise you as to what you might want or what you may not want to do. This way, you might be able to assist your client with problem resolution before you gain your own experience. Now that we covered knowledge, let's talk about the second most important factor when pretty much starting any business, and that is money. How much money do you need to get started in truck dispatching? Well, first, let's think about what you may need to start truck dispatching. First of all, you'll probably need some sort of a computer, which you probably already have. Second, you will need a phone, which you also probably have. Then you will need some software, which will make your operations more efficient. In most cases, the programs, the application that you would use can be accessed for free, or you can pay fairly low fees to access premium versions of the same products. A few years ago, I may have also suggested that you get some sort of a printer and scanner, but today it's really not necessary since you can complete most of the documents on your computer. You may also want to budget for your access to the load boards, but in most cases you can get those under $100 a month, so it's not such a great amount of money which would prevent you from getting engaged with truck dispatching. So as you can see, you probably already have most of the equipment that will be needed for operations, and you will not need too much money to get going with some software and the load boards. You may also need a couple of $100s if you want to register a company, but as we have discussed in another video, it is not required. You can start operation as a sole proprietor, so it's basically an optional thing that you may or may not want to do. Now let's summarize. We have determined that you can learn the skills to dispatch trucks. They're not all that hard, not that hard to learn, so it should be fairly easy for you to access this information and learn how the operations work. We also have determined that you will not need to invest too much money into your equipment and software, so you should be all set on that side of things as well. However, I have to point out one very important thing. Your ability to dispatch trucks does not make you a good entrepreneur. But if you want to try working on your own, you want to become a business owner, then I think truck dispatching might be the best way to start. You don't need to spend a lot of time on getting the skills because they're fairly basic. You don't need to spend a lot of money on the equipment because you probably already have most of the equipment needed. And unlike with most other business opportunities out there, even if you fail, your losses are going to be very limited. And that is the beauty of the truck dispatching business. You have very limited downside and a lot of potential if you become good at it. To conclude, I think that starting a truck dispatching business is not harder than starting any other business. In my opinion, it's probably even easier. So if you are interested in this industry, I think you should give it a shot. In the upcoming videos, I will try to do a comparison of truck dispatching with some other business opportunities in the transportation industry. We will review pros and cons and see how they compare with each other. But for now, we are going to wrap up this video, and I will see you next time.